Hello and welcome to the 2020 election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden is currently leading in the polls as the #1 Democrat to face Donald Trump in 2020. He has not announced if he will run yet. He said, I think soon though, and I think who is next? Julian Castro's on the 12th. He'll be announcing 6 days from now. We're going to start out with the solid states for Donald Trump. Let me change that to safe and toss up. Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina, Utah, Alaska. And let's move into Biden safe states: California, Washington, Illinois, District of Columbia, Maryland, Delaware, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, New York, Vermont, that first district in Maine, Hawaii. Anything else? Nope. Okay. So we got all the safe states down, which is 15% or more. We're going to move into the safe, likely, and leaning states. We're going to start off with the states that are definitely known to be likely: Oregon, New Jersey. These are just slightly lower than 15%. I think Oregon was like 11%, New Jersey was about the same, and Connecticut, I think, was 12% in 2016 for Hillary. Okay. New Mexico would definitely be a likely state. I could see around a 12% for Biden. Texas would be likely, I could see, for Trump around a 6 to 7%, slightly over the leaning. Okay, so now 188 for Joe Biden and 163 for Donald Trump. We're going to move into the state of Virginia. I could see Biden carrying this likely. It's been drifting more and more to the Democratic Party's side, and it doesn't seem like it's going to go to Trump, to almost any candidate that runs in 2020 besides maybe Nancy Pelosi, but I can't see her running. And maybe, I think there was 2 candidates on here that could lose Virginia, but most, at least average Democrats, and even many weak ones, could not lose Virginia. It's been very strong for the Democratic Party for the last 3 elections. It got close in 2012, but it got turned away when Donald Trump ran, and I don't know if it was more turned away or because Clinton's vice president running mate was from the state of Virginia, the Senator Tim Kaine. But it's been drifting more and more to the Democratic Party. I could see the 2nd district of Maine. Actually, no, we're going to come back to that. We're going to... Is there any more likely? I could see actually the state of Ohio staying in the likely column slightly, around a 6%, 7%. Trump has usually been around flat with his approval rating there. I think it's actually -3 currently, but it's been around between -3, +3 on Morning Consultant, I think it's what it's called. In the midterm elections, no House seats were lost. They kept their governor's seat by around a 4%, I think, and also the Senate seat was a little closer than anticipated. I thought it was going to be closer, but it was actually not as close as I suspected. I think I said it was going to be a little under 5%. It was about 6 to 7%, I think. And polls showed around 8 to 9. So it kind of dropped. So now we get the likely states in and the solid. We're going to move into the lean states. I could see the state of Colorado staying into the Democratic actually, that could be a likely state, but I don't know under Joe Biden being able to attract those Hispanic voters. So I could actually see it close to the likely column. And same with Nevada, I could see it close, but I think it stays in the lean. These two states, both in the midterm elections, went more to the Democrats. Nevada lost its senator and governor, and Colorado lost one of its representatives and its governor. I think it was governor, or was that New Mexico? No, Colorado had their governor. It just went more to the Democrats than 2014 midterm. There's been shifting in Nevada. Polls usually show, for some reason, Republicans leading there, or having a slightly closer race than anticipated. For some reason, like in 2016, they predicted it to go to Donald Trump, but it went to Clinton. It was very narrow, but they showed around a 2% for Donald Trump, and it was like a 2%, I think, for Clinton. And then it showed 2% for Dean Heller, but it was actually 5% win for Jackie Rosen. So that was very interesting. I could see also the state of Georgia staying with the president. He won there around 6%, and I don't think that in 2020 it will go to any Democrat. Maybe 2024 it'll be more contested, but I think it has enough room that it stays into the Republican column with the number of voters. Even in the midterm election, it stayed 2% for the governor race, and they only lost one representative. So now 197 to 216. I could also see the 2nd district in Maine leaning to Trump, even though the House seat flipped. It was so close for the Republican to win. It was very even, and usually when it goes from a midterm to a general election, the president's on the ballot, and the voters are more likely to go towards him. More, it's usually not as much based on approval. So I think that Trump could edge it out. He did very good there in the 2016 election. And same with the Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. I could see it nearly staying with them. I think it went to the Republicans by 3% in the midterms, even though it's showing it went evener than the closer to going to the Democrats than in 2016. I think that it was mostly based on the approval ratings and what they think, and I think that in the general election it'll bounce back. So now 199 to 216. I think that Trump could also carry Florida very easily with flipping the Senate race, and even though they lost 2 seats, they also kept the governor race, and it was expected in polls to go to Andrew Gillum. I predicted it would go to, oh my gosh, what is his name? Ron DeSantis, yeah. I predicted it to go to Ron DeSantis, and same with the Senate race. I predicted it to go to Rick Scott. So now 228, 216. Also the state of North Carolina. It's been staying pretty Republican. It lost none of its seats in the House election, and there was no Senate or governor race. So I think that shows that there's slight shift. Maybe some of the districts got a little closer, but in all it stayed with all its Republican-held districts. and all its Democratic ones, so I could see it definitely going to Trump again. 243, 216. I think that Biden could easily carry Minnesota. If Hillary Clinton did it, I think he could easily do it. He could appeal more to the Minnesota voters, more white working class. He's one of those Democrats that are more popular with the white working class, like Ojeda and Bernie Sanders, very good with the white working class. So 226, 243. I can also see Trump carrying definitely the state of Arizona. Even though they lost their Senate seat and one of their House seats, they stayed very strong in the governor race. And I think Trump, also with, I think now actually positive approval there, could edge it out 2%, 3%. 2024 will definitely be very contested, and I think it would be definitely a swing state and not a lean Republican state anymore. So now 254, 226. I think that Joe Biden could easily carry New Hampshire, not Vermont, New Hampshire. I think he could easily carry. It's not too happy with the state's not too happy with the president, and I could also see Maine's second congression for Maine's at-large district. The Democrats just have too big of a base there, and I think it's only the weaker Democrats could lose that district, even though Trump's more popular in the state of Maine. 232, 254. I think that Trump would lose the state of Pennsylvania. This is actually my first prediction that he's lost Pennsylvania. Biden's very popular there. He was born there, and I think he held Congress there. I don't remember. But I think that Biden would be able to flip Pennsylvania. So, 252, 254. I could also see Biden flipping the state of Wisconsin. I think it's the most unfavorable to the president out of the Rust Belt and Morning Consultant, but it was actually the most that voted for the GOP in the midterm elections, which was very interesting, and lost only its governor seat. I could see Trump carrying Iowa very, very close, very, very close. Even though Biden's leading there in the polls for the primary, Trump's just got such a huge base there. It's going to be very hard to flip over 150,000 votes that Clinton was behind, and he probably gained more votes there and lost some of his, but I think that he could edge it out. Now 260, 262. This is the closest presidential race I have predicted so far. It comes down to the state of Michigan, which is also very interesting, which Trump got. The GOP in the midterm elections voted least there for Republicans out of the three, and Trump's middle approval rating there. This would actually be very interesting because Biden and Barack Obama bailed out the auto industry, and now GM is actually closing plants, which could also be blamed on Trump, but I think Trump could use that against him. And also they lost 2 House seats, their governor's seat, but John James actually almost took the Senate seat, lost it by 6%, which is actually really interesting. I don't know if I could call this. This is very hard. I think this could very, very, very close go to Joe Biden. So, Biden with 278, Trump 260. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. the end of the month goal for me is 30 subscribers. We're at 28. We've gained 2 this month so far. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the bell button so you get notified when I have new videos that come out. And bye.